Allow yourself to imagine that you are looking at a view screen on the ship that not only shows you what is out beyond the ship, but overlays a diagram of all the energy connections in our solar system, all the vortices, all the pathways, all the lines of light and energy that connect every world in our system to other worlds. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and let it out. Take a deep breath in and hold it and blow it out. Focus now on the center of the diagram on the view screen in the ship. This will represent our star, our sun, which in our ancient language is called Bashar, which means exalted light, higher light. It is a yellowish-green star, similar to your own, slightly hotter. That is the center of our solar system. As we begin this journey, as the ship begins to move, allow your mind and your sight on the view screen to move to more outer and more outer rings and orbits, as each ring represents the idea of the orbits of the 7 planets in our system. Beginning with the planet that is closest to our star, which in our ancient language is called Theo. Similar is this planet to the planet in your system that you refer to as Mercury. A small body orbiting our star, exposed to the vast heat and light of our sun. In that sense, a spherical rock, vibrating at a certain frequency as it orbits our star. In what you would call approximately 90 days, 3 of your months. And as you observe the surface of this small rocky world, you will notice that there are a few craters, but not so very many. For this will have a surface that is constantly changing. So close to the star it is in a plastic state, almost a molten state, except where it cools on the far side away from the sun. You will find that it is a relatively smooth body, darkish in color, constantly shifting, constantly plastic, heating and cooling, constantly changing. The surface is always different, always slightly different. It appears similar to the black basalt of your lava flows over its entire surface. So you see the trails and creases and wrinkles of the expansion and contraction of the surface of this world as we glide slowly past it in our spacecraft. And as we thus then leave Theo behind, we come to the second world in the second orbit around our star. In our ancient language, this world is called Chen-Ki. This would translate to the idea of a kind of disembodied spirit. This world is larger than the first, not as large as your world, not as large as ours. but contains over it, in many places on its surface, large crystalline deposits poking out from the ground. There is no real plant life here, but an array of rocks and crystals of a variety of colors and hues in various places that absorb and transmit the sunlight through the surface in a variety of ways that cause energy vibrations to be given off that are unique in our system. And from this world do we mine the crystals that we place in our motherships that connect us to the vibration of creation and the vibration of the vortex, the major vortex in our solar system, which is on the planet Chen-Ki, that connects to many other systems and is a gateway we often use to allow us to translocate from system to system, star to star. And you feel the harmonic vibrations of Chen-Ki as it radiates out into the cosmos, and all the overlapping vortices that exist, ripples radiating out from central gates and points all over the world as laid out by the crystal formation. And as we move past Chen-Ki and move outward into the third orbit of our planet, similar in many ways to yours, also occupying the third orbit, but approximately 111 million miles from our central star, because our star is hotter. Thus we are slightly farther away from our star than you are from yours. And our orbit includes a day of almost 24 hours, similar to yours, but of a year of 454 days for one orbit around our star. And this is our world that in our ancient language is called Necessity, the world and place of living light, the world of the people, the world of the Sasani, our people, one of the hybrid races which are descendants of yours, whom we call in our ancient language Enani, the ancestors. And we thank you for our life and our light, and we thank you with gratitude and appreciation for our ability to communicate with you and share our common bond and our common family line. And our world is green and park-like. There are no major structures. The world is slightly smaller than your Earth, with more water than your Earth, with higher oxygen than your Earth, and is very green with almost no seasons. No major cities, for our ships are our cities. There are very few structures on the planet, but it is teeming with life. Our life, animal life, plant life. It is a very beautiful world, very peaceful world, and a very quiet world. For we are all telepathic, and there are very few conversations taking place. You can, in time and in dream, visit our world, and we welcome you and invite you to our home. And as our great ship now moves beyond that world to the fourth orbit, gliding away from Ethasani and approaching the world that is known as Petha, it is similar in many ways to the world you know also in the fourth orbit called Mars, though it does not have the same rusty surface. This world also has plant life in abundance upon it, and we have bases upon this world. You will find that it is, in that sense, not exactly what you would find comfortable to inhabit, but we have adapted ourselves in many ways in our evolution in transitioning from physical to quasi-physical reality, capable of existing on this world for a variety of reasons, for a variety of intentions. And we use it as a transition point for spiritual growth and evolution and communication with other beings that can visit our system, who cannot necessarily visit our planet, for whom our habitation is not appropriate, but Petha acts in that sense as a meeting place between our world and other worlds who would visit our system, who need a more rarefied atmosphere and different plant life that they would be more familiar with. And on Petha, there grows many different kinds of plants that have actually been brought from many different kinds of worlds. It is in that sense a riotous place of plant life of all different variations and colors that come from different star systems. And it is in its own way a beautiful place. And we move outward in our great ship from the 4th orbit to the 5th. But you will find immediately in the 5th orbit that there may seem to be nothing there. For this is the path of the world we call Vamar, which is the void, which is a gas giant world that is inclined about 30 degrees to the ecliptic. It does not orbit in the same plane. It is above and below, orbiting, and clearing a path so that nothing lies in that area between the idea of the 4th and the outer worlds. It is a gas giant of slightly greenish blue hue and has many moons and is beautiful to behold. And it is in that sense the void that connects us to the infinite and clears the way and clears the path. And beyond the void that is created by the gas giant world of Vamar, our ship glides out farther and farther away from our central star, out to the last 2 planets, which are locked in a dance in orbit with each other, spinning around as 2 people would do, holding hands and spinning, dancing with each other, and thus we call them the dancers, Cha Chupani. 2 dancers dancing, orbiting the farthest out, our 6th and 7th worlds in our star system, dancing around, eternally dancing in orbit around our star. And as we move farther away, gliding past Cha Chupani, out beyond the 7 worlds that comprise our system, out where you find, as in your system, a cloud of asteroids, of ice, a shell that surrounds our star, many, many, many billions of miles from the star, and forms a glowing halo that encompasses our entire system within a crystalline shell, a diaphanous shell of light, glinting with ice crystals. You cannot see our star from your reality without making a shift. But were you to look in the direction of your Orion constellation, we would be 500 light years along that path, were you to overlap our system with yours. But we are connected nonetheless, for though we may be extraterrestrial by not living on the earth, we are not alien to you. We are family, and our system is connected to your system, and very strongly connected to the system you call Sirius, the hot blue-white star that contains both physical consciousness on a planet and non-physical consciousness in its dimensional sphere, and acts as the higher guide and the higher mind of our world, and helps us evolve and ascend even as we help you. So we all climb together up that ladder of evolutionary ascension of consciousness, together as a trinary family of Enani, Ethethani, and Ea, what we call Sirius in our ancient language, Ea. Ea, Ethethani, Enani, together. A beautiful, glittering gem of tetrahedral structure that contains at its apices the vortexes that connect these systems and represents a larger family of souls and oversouls. In this area of the cosmos, of the universe, of creation, of the multiverse, of all that is. Your stories are bigger than you know, grander than you know. Even as you live your individual life stories, you are constantly uploading information to the grander stories of the grander beings of which you are a part. And each and every story is cherished and precious and beautiful and wondrous and magical and transformational, and allows all of us to share vast stories of creation. And now, as you float in our ship at the outer edge of our system, allow yourselves to reverse course and very swiftly glide past the outer planets, the dancers, Chachupani, through the void created by the gas giant of Vamar, past the world of Petha, that is the meeting place of all worlds, past our world of Ethethani, green and glowing with light, past Chenki, the crystal vibrational gate, past Sio, the plastic ever-changing surface, to the sun of Shah, and the bright, brilliant light of your own star as you shift back to your solar system through the stellar gate and arrive once again at the beautiful world you call Earth. Your home, our home to be, as we share with you in time our family lines to come. Allow your music to soften. Take a deep breath in. And welcome home. Welcome home. Welcome home. Our unconditional love to you all. Our deep appreciation and gratitude for the co-creation of this interaction. Live your life story as fully as you can, for it adds to all that is in immeasurable and beautiful ways. Create. Good day. You all have a nice trip? Thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for having us here. Have a wonderful day. due to the nature of how you have created your physical reality, and in creating the sense and experience of detachment, so to speak, or disconnection, so to speak, or limitation, so to speak, from the spirit world, in creating that experience of detachment from the spirit world, you must from time to time reconnect to it. And generally speaking, although of course we understand there are many different kinds of dreams, and many different reasons for dreaming, and many different meanings that you can give to dreams, many different representations that come from dreams, we're actually talking about the physical mechanism of dreaming that allows you as a being to expand and go into the connection of being a little bit more yourself in the spiritual level while you are still physical. This reconnection on a regular basis is critical for your actual physical survival and for your ability to function in physical reality. Many individuals on your planet, as some of you may know, have done what you call studies about dreaming and sleeping. And they have found quite correctly and realized quite correctly that you might be allowed to dream but not sleep so much. And if you don't sleep so much, you will be perhaps tired. And perhaps some of your functionality may be a little bit impaired. But as long as you are allowed to have moments of dreaming, you will still be able to continue to function more or less normally in physical reality. However, they have also found that no matter how much sleep they allow an individual to have, if they prevent the individual from dreaming, very rapidly the individual will dissolve into psychosis. And they can actually die from that. Understand the dreaming is far more critical than the sleeping itself. So, in order to actually maintain your physical existence, you must dream. In order to function in physical reality, you must dream. The reason we bring this up and the reason we point this out in these lists is that that is really what we're talking about also when we talk about desire. It's connected very strongly to dream. Understand that your dreams, your ability to dream, in that sense, is connected to your ability to desire, to manifest, to realize and experience in physical reality. And dreaming and desiring from the soul level, in many ways, are essentially the same thing. Because when you dream, you are creating, as we said, a reconnection, a manifestation of an experience of more of yourself, which is really what desire is all about, fundamentally. It drives you to experience more of your true holistic self. Now then, definition. We've talked many times about defining your beliefs, and definition remains. Defining your beliefs remains a critical component of accessing and dealing with core beliefs. And what we are also talking about when we talk about definition is clarity of definition. Clarity of definition. Really getting down deep into exactly how your beliefs are constructed, how your definitions are put together, what components make them up, what ideas and thoughts go into it or result from it. All the factors that stem from and help to reinforce the definitions you have bought into, that you have been brought up with, that you have been spoon-fed since birth. Remember that in accepting and in choosing the idea of the physical reality experience, generally speaking, although some things are somewhat malleable, you have agreed to accept and adopt a series of ideas and concepts that, in a sense, govern physical reality, such things as gravity on your planet, electromagnetic fields, neurological impulses, so on and so forth. I am not saying these things cannot be changed by your vibration, but generally most of you agree to play along and let those things run automatically so that you can focus on other issues, instead of having to constantly, consciously think about keeping your feet on the ground. You allow yourself to simply have an automatic portion of your beingness that says, I agree that as long as I'm on physical reality Earth, gravity exists, and I won't simply go floating off into space. Although that can happen sometimes for various reasons. And we may get into that later.